So we can have polar equations and we can have rectangular equations, and we should be able to convert between the two. So that's what really these questions are asking, is to convert the following polar equations into the equivalent rectangular or Cartesian form. So I have r is equal to 5 secant of theta, and then using these formulas that I have here, I really want to have a final answer that only has x's, y's, and hashtags, or I should say numbers. So no r, no thetas, and no trig functions. So with r is equal to 5 secant of theta, I'm really trying to get an r cosine of theta or an r sine of theta. So I'm trying to get an r cosine of theta or an r sine of theta. And I want those because if I see an r cosine of theta, I can just replace it with an x. If I see an r sine of theta, I can just replace it with a y. So I have this 5 secant of theta, and I'm going to multiply both sides by 1 over secant. So that is my strategy for this one. So if I multiply both sides by 1 over secant, then the secant of theta will cancel out here, and I'll just be left with r times 1 over secant of theta is equal to 5. Now 1 over secant of theta, that is equal to cosine of theta because it's the reciprocal. So I have now r cosine of theta on that side is equal to 5. And then the r cosine of theta, I can replace that with x. So this is going to be x is equal to 5. And that is going to be my equation. So the equation r is equal to 5 secant of theta, that's the polar equation, and the equivalent equation in rectangular form is x is equal to 5.